Britain's unemployment rate hit a 5-year low recently after dropping to 6.8% in the 3 months to March. However, although the coalition government is touting the drop as a significant step in the job market recovery, behind the headlines is not all as it seems. According to the Office for National Statistics, the number of self-employed people increased by 146,000 to reach 4.5 million in the 3 months to February. However, this isn't necessarily a major mark of entrepreneurial spirit, as many were forced to go into self-employment since the onset of the financial crisis.
I was working as a project manager in a very small design firm, and I lost my job. They were going to expand. They hired me on with the idea that they were going to expand the company, and unfortunately, because of the economic climate, they wound up not expanding and taking a much more cautious path. So they didn't need a project manager for 2 people, so I was let go. And the bills still had to be paid. So I, leveraged the only talent that I had, which is writing. I have a degree in English and history, so I can write a mean essay. And I started content creation for websites like eHow and Dex Knows and Love to Know, which are, they're known as content mills, and they pay very little, but they pay by the piece and they pay regularly, so it was enough to pay the bills at the time.
Moreover, at a time when the job market is squeezed, the more vulnerable parts of society, namely those with mental health issues, end up bearing the brunt.
It's definitely been out of necessity because I'm, in short, disabled with various sort of mental health problems and everything. So I did used to work a lot of kind of bar jobs and stuff like that, but eventually, for one reason or another, it's not so much a kind of official sacking, but we always came to a mutual agreement that I can expect them to carry on hiring me, and they can be expected to kind of look after my various disabilities in the workplace. So I just sort of gave up on kind of working for other people and started working for myself.
To make matters worse, although the jobs market is meant to be recovering, those who have had gaps in their CV due to being forced into self-employment are finding it difficult to get back on the ladder.
There's no possible way now that anybody would hire me, especially with sort of like having gaps in official employment because of illness and stuff like that. If I went into, say, I always kind of worked in bar work and retail and stuff like that. If I went into, say, a bar and gave them my CV, it would just be a list of various kind of one-off music jobs and other stuff that I've done in the gap between kind of working in an official capacity.
Of course, though, there are a number of those that viewed the squeeze in the employment market as the push they needed to start working for themselves.
I'm a self-employed massage therapist. I've been self-employed since, I think, the summer of 2009 till the present day. I'm kind of going into other therapies at the moment and trying to train up into acupuncture. I did something called postnatal doulaing for a while, which is supporting mums and new babies. It's something that I chose because of what I'd qualified in, which was a massage qualification. Most therapists are self-employed. Otherwise, I would have to go and work for, say, one company working in a spa, and I felt that I would have more control over what I would be able to do being self-employed, e.g. working in different environments and different places for different clients.
And of course, being your own boss can garner some major positives.
The flexibility. I can't knock the flexibility. It gives me the ability to work almost from anywhere. I have had a chance to travel and work. I've worked from Australia, I've worked from the States. So my clients really don't mind where I'm working from as long as the work gets done.
I am my own boss. I don't have a boss essentially. I can choose when I want to work. I can choose when I want to take a holiday. I don't get any office politics because, again, it's just me working with clients and they're generally silent until the end of the treatment, and you speak to them for a couple of minutes. And the service that I provide, people genuinely seem grateful, or they've come in for that reason, is for me to provide like a massage service to them. So people are genuinely kind of appreciate your skills and are very grateful for the treatment that you can provide them.
Well, now I occasionally teach because I play accordion and do bits of sort of recording work for other people and stuff, because people are a lot more willing to overlook your various mental problems if you have a very specific skill. So, for instance, not many people play piano accordion. In terms of positives, it's I mean, again, just being able to avoid all the negativity for working for like a corporate, big kind of bar corporation or something, and something like that. Being able to work anywhere on the road and everything, you don't need to have a particular base, so that's quite good. But I'd say that the positives are more just avoiding all the negative aspects of working in a traditional environment.
But what about the negatives? Self-employment for millions of people out there doesn't necessarily mean fashionable tech startups or companies that receive dream-like funding from the outset. The think tank Resolution Foundation revealed recently that the typical freelancer earns 40% less than a typical employee. Furthermore, the study also found that weekly earnings of self-employed people have plummeted by 20% since 2007. On top of that, there are many other drawbacks of being self-employed.
The drawbacks have been that it required sort of a 24/7 commitment to being a business person, whether that is actually doing the work or running the business or trying to source more employment. It's been a 24/7 commitment for 6 years. I'm only now just able to ease off the gas a little bit and try to maintain the momentum that I've started.
It is no sick pay, no holiday pay. Also as well, not for me, I'm not very kind of like money minded, so probably not having like anything like a pension to pay into. I didn't realise anything about the money kind of side of things. And also, yeah, you're constantly thinking about work all the time because you're always having to pick up the phone for the next client. You can't turn down any work. Sometimes work can fluctuate like seasonally as well, depending if people are around my area where I work or not, especially in Borough Market. So yeah, I'd probably say that's the top kind of couple of things that constantly play on my mind.
Up until a while ago, I was kind of doing okay with it, but stress does tend to make you ill in the long term, so that's one of the negatives, I guess, and isolation, not actually knowing whether you're going to make enough money, and being able to, there's not really kind of a specific kind of career plan that you can take. It's more just taking any odd jobs, and you have to just work for as long as possible, and yeah, so the stress, I suppose.
So what happens when, while being self-employed, you can't make ends meet? Some are still forced to take benefits, but contrary to some of the hyperbole over welfare in the UK, it is not as plain sailing as some reports make out.
It's horrible, really, really horrible. I would exchange my dependency on disability benefits and things any day for being able to work a traditional 9 to 5 and actually being accepted in a social office environment.
So has the UK job market really recovered? There may be a drop in unemployment, but is that really telling the whole story? We'll let you decide.